Good evening everyone and welcome to Simplay Motorsport. Here to bring you the first of a couple of practice sessions here. We're going to let the drivers try and find the teammates and find the cars that they want to drive as a team, and we'll take it from there. As for now, it's all about what they can do in the weather conditions that have been decided, as well as the conditions of which car to drive and who to be the teammate. Team's starting to take some sort of shape we are aware of at the moment. We're just waiting for one or two drivers still to come in. So while we wait, let's talk you through a few of the team lineups that are confirmed at the moment. We know that Mazda and Keegs are confirmed as Team Iron Brew. Gary 131 and Little Leach 774, they're confirmed as Team Leach Motorsport, I'm led to believe. Such Apex and Phil, they're also a team. No name at the moment, and I think they have decided on the Lamborghini. That's the Pro Group team anyway. In terms of Pro-Am, Swimfins and Alfie, a team. No team name just as yet, but I do believe, so I'm led to believe, in the Porsche. And then Welshie and Stealth Sloth. Again, no team name at the minute, but so I'm led to believe as well the Lamborghini as Alfie joins the session. We are just waiting on Dean Wasocki, Phil, and I think that's it. I'll just give them another invite and we'll wait for them. Everybody in chat, evening, hope you're well. Cam as well, we're waiting on. So yeah, many teams, many cars that could be tested here, and many a driver in this lobby, quick drivers as well, like Gary and Little each two that you ought to keep your eyes out for this season. They're two that I'm tipping for the title along with Mazda. He's one that can also be on the ball. Michael Matthews, evening to you. Gary Motorsport. Gary, evening. Leach Motorsport, yet to choose a car just to add, yeah. Aware of that one, buddy. Testing the Mercedes at the moment. I think we'll get ourselves underway while we wait for the final few drivers to enter the lobby. As Keegs has entered the lobby, so part of Team Iron Brew here. May have to leave and come back in as he may be in the wrong car. Joined just as we was starting the session. So part of Team Iron Brew then in the lobby. Not sure where the other half of Team Iron Brew is. So after the qualification process was done and finished last week, let me just quickly run down the list of groups we have for you. I'll just get them up and we'll be able to go through that, and then we'll be able to tell you the tracks with what weather will be used and the official dates for them as well. Season kicking off on the 23rd and 24th of September, starting with the Pro-Am category first, and then the Pro on the Thursday night, the Pro-Am on the Wednesday. So 12 cars in the Pro-Am category and 10 in the Pro. Obviously more room to fill up the grid if there is any opportunity. I've not set myself. So here we are then. As the cars start to come out. So for these lads, it's purely testing, purely here for the fact that they're trying to find the cars that they want to use. Like I said, team started to take shape, so that's one thing that's sorted. That's Alfie, who stopped on the exit to the pit lane, not quite sure why. Here comes the Stealth Sloth, new to the league, in the bright green Lamborghini. Been on with the Stealth Sloth these last couple of days. He's only had the game for I think 2 or 3 days, so I'm led to believe, and he's already starting to improve on his lap times. You can see where he's getting better and improving his racecraft as well. So it's nice to see new guys coming into the league and starting to improve. You see Welshie is still in the pits. Swimfins looks like he's leaving the pits as the camera's moving. There is Sutty, the man, the myth, the legend, Sutty Apex. He will be one to watch this season as well. So I'm led to believe, my sources tell me he's on the pad, on the wheel, but we'll find that out in terms of his lap times. Little Leach there in the black Mercedes with the yellow trim, the yellow Project Cars bit on the side, behind his teammate and brother Gary Leach. Again, another one that I'm tipping for the title here is Gary. Same car but just with blue. Another man that I think it could be up there this season. Chris still in the pits as the half-an-hour session kicks off. So we are at Silverstone. Let me just run you through the groups. So the groups are as follows. It is Mazda 917, Gary Leach, Little Leach, Keeks, Phil, Sooty Apex, Dean Wasocki. Many surprised at Dean Wasocki's inclusion in the Pro-Am group, but he's done a good enough qualifying time, as well as a few drivers not able to make the Pro session on the Thursday night, unfortunately. Kieran Argent, another one that benefited from a few people not being able to make the Thursday night, as well as Monkey Boy and Peaceful Explosion. That's your Pro group. Your Pro-Am category is Deeks 45, Big Boy Brazier, could be a favourite for the Pro-Am category. Cam, Welsh, TMLS, DJ Phil Green, Alfie, Swimfins, McCurtis, Holty, again someone who you've got to watch closely, could be another one for the title. Stealth Sloth, and Smithy is down, but yet to hear back from Smithy as to whether we'll see him feature on the grid or not. Everybody get your comments in on who you think is going to win each category, and try and get your predictions in on what you'd like to see happen in qualifying and or racing throughout. Big night across the board here, as we are, I think, expecting Cam and Phil in. Sorry for the blue screen, that's all that is, as Keegs has managed to get back into the lobby. So you see then, we've had a bit of dry light cloud, the rain now starting to fall, and this is a feature of the weather that we're going to be having impacting these races and causing them to be a bit thrown up in the air and a bit changed, if you like. So let me just run through the season for you. So to start, we're going to kick start on the 23rd and 24th of September with this track, Silverstone GP. 4 weather slots was randomly picked for this one, and so the weather was picked at random again. Light cloud to rain, medium cloud followed by clear spells at the end of the race. So what we've seen is we've seen the light cloud already. We're now into the session, the part of the session with the rain, and now we're here that there will be medium cloud and clear sky, sun if you like, for the back end of the race. So it should dry up towards the end of practice, but what this does is it gives the guys the chance to use the cars in the dry and the wet as well. So they're not just testing them in the dry conditions and thinking, yeah, I like this car, and then the rain comes and it's not what they've been expecting. Chance to use it in the wet conditions as well. And the weather will reverse for the second race of the evening, so it will start sun, medium cloud, then into rain and light cloud throughout. Qualifying will be dry throughout as always, as we see Alfie just losing the rear of the car, and Sooty's currently put in the quickest time so far with a 2:04.7. The track not getting too wet at the moment, and like I say, what it does is it's giving the drivers a chance. Sooty really struggling with the rear of that car in the wet. Little Leach has done a 2:08.8, 4 seconds off the pace, and Gary a 2:11. Running in the wet, it's very interesting, especially with standing water. Yeah, Peaceful Explosion, aka Michael Matthews. Keegs was parked on the side of the road, not quite sure what that's all about. Alfie's managed to get back on track. Swimfin's going around as well. Welsh also still in the pits. So yeah, Peaceful, the rain's going to make it interesting in terms of strategy, when to pit, when not to pit. You know, is it wet enough now for wets? I'd say so. Look at the amount of spray that Sooty Apex is kicking up. Doesn't seem to be losing that much of that car as Phil has entered the lobby. So evening to Phil, Sooty's teammate, as Sooty loses it coming through a right hand bend. Swimfin's just in front. We see Stealth Sloth has done a quick lap, but he's now in the gravel. So with the weather, you know, strategy is going to come into it. This just being practice session, guys, you may see come and go off the lap time leaderboards to change the cars and change what cars they want to use, but for the time being, this is where it's going to be at, and this is where we could see some interesting pit strategies on the races when we get to the tracks this year. as Phil is about to leave the garage. Well, she's still there, I'm led to believe. Phil's out now, and Cam is also in the lobby, so a good lobby of 10 drivers at the moment. I think we are awaiting Dean Wysocki and Kieran Argent. Kieran Argent said he might be able to get on, but he should be here for tomorrow night's test session. Dean Wysocki said he would be on, but no sign of Dean at the moment. Dean may want to try out tomorrow night, not obviously with Peaceful, Kieran and Monkey Boy, the only guys who's not signed up to teammates at the moment. Dean may want to try and get on tomorrow night if Peaceful and Kieran are definitely on tomorrow night, and Monkey Boy is as well. Try and strike a deal and select a car, because the problem is, as much as you can come on and test on your own now, you really want to be getting the chance of testing in the car you're going to be driving, especially on the tracks that's on the calendar, and the chance for the drivers to learn their cars that bit better. As we see, nothing happening with Cam at the moment. There is Phil in the black and orange liveried Lamborghini. One team that has been confirmed with a livery as well, I know Sooty Apex and Phil, but we have got a team that has been confirmed, team name and livery. Let me just find that for you. It's actually TMLS and McCurtis. Who are teaming freaks in the Lamborghini. The number 33 car, the red and green with a bit of black on there as well, the demon tweaks on the side. Lamborghini, that is confirmed. So waiting official livery number and driver team names to come through. Like we know Gary and Little each testing some cars out tonight. Sooty Apex still the man on pole position at the moment. If you see cars that are ghosting, don't worry about that. That just means that with Cam and Phil especially joining the server late, the other cars won't be able to see them on track, so that's nothing to worry about. It's just because they joined the server late, and to not interfere with the guys that's already been on the server already. As Phil is coming towards the last couple of corners. Steve has actually gone second. Steve Stovsloff, sorry, has actually gone second at the moment. And he's coming into the pits. Is that for a set of wet tyres? Here is Little Each coming down the Wellington Straight. He's got Alfie just in front of him. Oh, and just losing the rear on that Mercedes, trying to probably put some power down before he comes into Luffield. For Gary there, his teammate. 7 seconds off the pace, but like we know, it is going to dry up. You're not going to set your best times in the wet weather, obviously, so we're not expecting times to improve just right now. But what we are looking for is these drivers are looking to get the car used to to get to grips with the car in these conditions. As we see, Keegs is in the pit, so as well. She ignore Matt at the bottom. That is myself. Evening to DJ Phil Green. What, are you with us tonight, Phil, or are you? Are you with us tomorrow evening? Yeah, we're not looking. They're not looking to set the best times at the moment. It's just about getting, like I say, getting them used to the track and everything right now. And this is for, especially the likes of, we know Gary has Gary and Little each don't have their car picked at the minute. This is purely for them to test this Mercedes in the wet. We know that I think Team Ironbrew with Mazda and Keegs have gone with the Mercedes. That one I believe is confirmed. I think the only thing we're waiting for from Mazda and Keegs is livery choices. You can see Gary cruising in the wet, making it look quite easy so far. Gary's an absolute demon, absolute beast on the track is Gary. And I say that, and he loses the rear coming into turn 2. As we see, Keegs is out on track. He's done a 5-minute 41 lap time, so that's one heck of a lap. Don't forget there was well damage is on this, as is tyre wear and fuel. So that Swimfin's Porsche in the background, he's going to be struggling with that. Look at some of the puddles coming down the Wellington Straight here. That's not what you're wanting. So when will we see the... yeah, definitely commentator's curse there, Peaceful, you're right. So when will we see the rain stop and the cloud come in and then the clear skies roll through as well? As we see Keegs at the moment on a lap. There's Cam. Again, another newbie to the season. and we've seen him do his qualifying time, and since then we've seen him improve since then. Yeah, he's got quicker as Cam since he's set his qualifying time. You see him, like Michael, aka Stealth Sloth, they're getting better and they're getting quicker and quicker by every passing moment. As I say that, he's just on the grass there. Well, she is out on track now, Stealth Sloth's teammate, as we see the rain starting to slow and the medium clouds start to roll in now. So this is the time where, you know, you've got to keep on the wets for the time being, but how long will it take for it to dry up? You see the rain just easing slightly. As I say that, it comes down a bit harder there. On board with Welshie. On the roof cam. Yeah, the rain's still coming down, but not as much as it was a little earlier. Welshie, the only one to not set a time. There is Alfie, currently a 3:09.6. He's coming around the end of his lap. Let's see if he can improve his time. He's got Gary just in front and Little Leach behind. Running the Porsche, an interesting choice in car, running the Porsche. But it's nice to see, you know, different variety of cars on the grid. He has improved. He's gone up to P6 at the moment with a 2-minute 21.9. And the rain pretty much, if we go on board Alfie here, pretty much looks like, yeah, it's pretty much coming to a stop. But yeah, nice to see the different variety of cars out there on track. So, you know, the Porsche, something to look out for at the moment is his teammate Swimfins, who's got a lot of damage on that car and may need to take that back to the pits. He's keeping going with it for now, so obviously the damage not hurting him too much. As Chris comes down to start his lap time and get a time on the board. There's Phil. A bit late into the lobby compared to normal, but still chances to do Austria, the Red Bull Ring, and I do believe, I want to say the Nürburgring. I could be wrong, but just let me double check that. Yep, the Nürburgring and the Red Bull Ring, the other two tracks that will be tested tonight, and same goes for tomorrow. I think we're going to do the same 3 tracks tomorrow for the guys who couldn't make tonight. As Phil currently sits in P7, Keegs has improved, but it's only good enough for P8. But like I say, sometimes was set in the dry. You look at Little Leach and Stealth Sloth, and Sutty's time especially was set in the dry, as he's just behind. That's either Welshie or Stealth Sloth. It is the Stealth Sloth. As you can see, it gets a bit brighter. The rain has stopped, and the Stealth Sloth and Sutty just battling for track position here as they try to improve their times and learn this track in the wet. And the Stealth Sloth lets Sutty through. No problems there. These two first and second. It's not about the times here. There will be a 1-lap race featured after, and that's just purely so that we can get to, you've got to run a quick race after it. I don't think it lets you not run the race, so this is so we can get back to the lobby and change track. You see a lot of standing water on the track at the moment, as we see Sutty really trying to put his foot down a bit, but just catches a puddle, and that sends him a bit wide and onto the grass. Here comes Gary, 131. You can see it starting to dry slightly in places as well at the same time here, so this is interesting now. It is starting to get a bit better out there condition wise. You can see through here a lot of spray, but the track's starting to get drier than what it was. So already we're seeing a change in the track, and this is where the drivers have got to be cunning. You know, you've got to make a mandatory pit stop in the race when we get to the season. This is where the drivers have got to look at this and think, when's the time to pit, when's the time to go on dry. As you see there from Gary, no spray until he gets towards the braking zone, and the rear goes around on Gary again. Hasn't got that corner right at the moment. As well, she goes into P5, so nice time from him at 2:18. And on a drying track we'll start to see maybe some of these slower times get a bit quicker. Here's Cam down the hanger straight. We see Cam come in, and again not a lot of spray until he gets to the braking zone of Stowe. So maybe opportunity here for times to get a bit quicker. And is this Cam coming into the pits for wet tyres? Here's Alfie. coming onto the old start straight. You see a lot of puddles, a lot of standing water coming onto the old start straight. Alfie takes that well there. Where's Keegs? He's just gone through Maggots and Beckett. Swinfins was the car behind Alfie. Again. Oh, just runs wide there. Swinfins then, obviously not agreed on a colour of the Swinfins and Alfie team, the two Porsches, as they've come through Maggots and Beckett's. Through the Chapel Curve and up the Hanger Straight, we see Alfie's round, obviously pushing hard and trying to get some better times in. Cam is in the pit lane, so that is clearly for me. Oh no, he's sat in the pit, so he's obviously gone to the pit box here. On with Stealth Sloth. Look at how wet it is coming through. Where's that? That is... Oh, we've lost Keegs from the session and he's back, so maybe a change of car for Keegs then. He's coming down onto Wellington Straight. Phil's back in. Phil's joined as well. That might be late things just popping up there. We see Little Each in the wall. A lot of standing water. Here is Phil. Coming through Maggots Beck, it's a Chapel Curve, so you can see people now starting to struggle on the greasy track where it's been wet and it's now starting to dry. You can see these guys really starting to get a bit twitchy. When is the time for the slick tyres to go back on? Have they put slicks on? And this is why, you know, tyres aren't up to temperature at the moment, as Phil's coming in towards Stowe Corner. Down the Vale straight towards Club. For what will be the end of this lap and the start of the next one, in which the track is getting quite dry. Just a slight bit of spray as it comes through the back end of Club and onto the start straight, but pretty much bone dry. You see a lot of spray here. 8 seconds down on his best lap time, but nothing to worry about at the moment. So let's just take a quick look at the timing screens. We can see at the moment that Gary 131 and Sooty Apex are the guys who've done 7 laps, getting the laps in. Stealth Sloth and Little Eater on 6 apiece, as is Alfie and Swinfins. And it's Keegs and Phil who've done 5 apiece. Cam's on 4, Welsh's on 3. So yeah, laps are getting the lap times in, as Phil loses the rear of the car. Stealth Sloth still in the pits, as is Alfie. Have they came in for dry tyres? No, Alfie is sat in the pit box, as is the Stealth Sloth. Sooty, we just jump on board him and he's already on the grass as well. Not really seeing anyone pit for the dry tyres with 10 minutes remaining in the session. It's starting to brighten up. You can start to see where the damp patches are and where the dry spots are. Apart from there, that is really wet, going through a puddle. Flat out onto the Wellington Straights, and wow, there's still a lot of puddles around at the exit of the Wellington Straight there. Evening to everyone who is watching in the stream. If you can leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, I'll do the channel some good. I appreciate that as well. As he's coming down then Luffield, down through Woodcote towards Cops Corner, and it is still wet going through Woodcote. Still a lot of standing water around, as Little Each is also in the pits now, and so is Cam. Maybe feeling like they ought to be on the drier tyre. Let's see. But testing's all about, you know, trying to get laps in, trying to get laps under your belt. As we see, Sooty Apex is now on to his 8th lap, with only Gary and Little Each on 7 just behind us. So is Swinfins, apologies. 6 laps is for Keegs, the Stealth Sloth and Alfie, then 5 laps is for Phil and Cam. 3 laps, just the 3 laps for Welshie so far. But you know, still a couple of test sessions on other tracks as well, as here is Sooty Apex. Look at it, it's bone dry coming down the Hanger straight in towards Stowe, where it just is a puddle towards the end by the braking zone. As they come round Stowe Corner down the Vale Straight, looks very dry through here towards the pit lane, and then breaks in towards Club, this whole section. And again, I have to say, not much spray coming off the back of that Lamborghini. Around he goes onto the start straight, not a lot of spray at all, so there is a bit there. Sooty, obviously, you see, going close to the pit wall, searching for the dry spots, pulls back across the track to try and find the dry line in towards turn 1, in towards Abbey, and then through Farm Curve and up towards Village. This is where we've seen Gary Leach lose it a couple of times, just a puddle on the braking zone, so that's going to cool the tyres down. Still wet around this section, and as we know last time around when we jumped on with Sutty, was still wet coming through Aintree onto the Wellington Straight, and you can see there it is wet. It's getting a bit drier. Sutty looks like he's weaving all over to keep the tyres warm, but that's just how wet the track is. As we see, Stelsloff still in the pit lane, as is Little Leach. That's Gary who's actually round there, then going through. That's Luffield, it looks like. Someone behind him on track as well who was round there. Big puddles coming out on the exit to Luffield and on the entry into Woodcote. Here's Keegs then at the start of his lap. Fill the car behind Gary. There's Welsh who's just gone through Cops Corner. And it's heading down towards Maggots. And Beckett's now in Chapel Curve. How wet is it through here? Much spray? Nah, it doesn't seem to be too bad round here on line. It seems to be quite nice and dry through there. A bit wet maybe on exit, but as we go onto the Hangar Straight, it seems to be nice. Yeah, seems to be some good weather here. Big puddle though just before the braking zone. That's going to really cool the tyres down just before the braking zone. Cam is the car just in front. We'll stick with Cam as he finishes his lap, and we'll see if there's any improvement from the young man. Come through the club section and onto the start straight. Runs a lot wider than he'd have liked there, but crosses the line. And is it any improvement? No, it is not. Stelsloff back out on track. Little Leach still in the pits. Does Welsh cross the line for any improvement? No, he doesn't. So the track's starting to improve and starting to get better. Sutty is in the pits, so is he in the pits for the dry tyres? Let's wait and see. But the track really starting to dry up and really starting to get better. And this is what we want to see. We want to see the track evolve and develop and get to where they want it to be. Coming down the Hangar Straight is Alfie. Good young racer, Alfie. Seems keen, he seems up for the challenge. Let's see what he can do in the Pro-Am category this season. And into the club section of the track he goes, and round to start what will be another lap for himself. Let's just take a quick look at the timing screens and see he'll be coming on to start his 8th lap, the same as his teammate Swimfins at the moment. We have Sutty who's done 10 laps. He's back out on track. We've got Little Leach, Gary, Keegs, Phil in the pit lane, but Little Leach and Gary just leave the pits as I say that. Gary's the next best man on track for laps. He's down on 9 laps. At 2 minutes a lap, you know, in a half an hour session, you are wanting to probably look at, you know, just over 2 minutes should I say, you're probably wanting to look at about 10 to 15 laps you'll be pleased with in testing. I'm sure you can come away from that and say, you know, I've got some good laps in this car and I feel comfortable in this car. As to what we can do with the laps, still very wet on the exit of Aintree onto the Wellington Straight. Still very, very wet there. Here's Cam though on the back straight where it's bone dry. Swimfins coming down Vale Straight in towards Club Corner. Clearly Swimfins and Alfie, not only do they need a team name, they need a livery that's going to match. Obviously both running different types of blue. And Swimfins actually improves on his time there, so you see the track improving a bit. Kieran Argent has joined the session, so it'd be nice to get another car on that track and see what the other car can do. As you see, Little Leach just moving out of Swimfins' way. Cam's about to start a lap as well. Welshie is in the pit lane. Here's Phil, who's just gone through Woodcote, which looks like it's drying, but it's drying at a slow pace. Sutty back in the pits as Stelsloff is coming out the pits right now behind his teammate Welshie. So Sutty still on 10 laps, Gary still on 9. Where is Gary? He's just coming through Maggots and Beckett's through Chapel Curve onto the Hangar Straight. He's got Alfie just in front of him. So Gary will be coming around to start lap number 10. I think Welshie may want to get a couple more laps in. Might be disappointed to only just get the 5 laps in at the moment, but Sutty, the man who's got 10 laps, the only man in double figures. It's all about the time on track. It's all about how much you can get from the track, how much you can get from the session to know whether you're in the right car or not, as Alfie spins round there. Gary, no improvement for him that time. But he can really sort of let his hair down now, as this is the start of his 10th lap. Kieran Argent is in the session, so he may get 1 or 2, probably just the 1 proper timed lap in, so he might not even be anything serious with the track still damp in places, especially. You can see the dry line through here, and then it's coming into Aintree and onto the Wellington Straight, where you see it is still very, very wet, and in fact it's that wet Gary's wide and off, couldn't keep that together, so the Wellington Straight could catch. In fact, it has caught Gary out a bit there. As we jump on board with Gary, he is off and around and a span there, so the wet conditions obviously proving a bit tricky for Gary here. And unfortunately isn't going to help him on his lap time this time around. Here is Alfie's into the pit, so there's Welshie. That was Keegs coming down the main straight for the Team Iron Brew in the black and green liveries. This may be a hint at their colours for Team Iron Brew, we'll have to wait and see. He's coming round then up through Farm Curve and Village towards the loop and into Aintree, where we've just seen Gary go off, and it is wet down there, we know. Alfie's in the pits and won't get another lap time in, so you know, he's got the chance to redeem himself, maybe a P8, but overall, like we say, you know, it's getting the laps in the car to make sure you feel comfortable. I'm sure he'll take 8 laps out of his session so far. Swinfins is on 10, Gary's on 10, Sutty Apex is on 11, as Keeg, struggling down the Wellington Straight, comes across the track and hopefully stays out the way of Little Leach. Indeed he does. Where is Sutty? He's just coming through Cops, so towards Maggots and Beckett's, so he may get some more laps in yet. Stealth Sloth just started his 7th timed lap of the session. Little Leach we saw going through, that's coming through Woodcut now, where it's still very wet through there as well. Gary we see coming into the final part of the tracks, will get 1 more timed lap in. Keegs might just. Phil coming in through Maggots and Beckett's, just coming around the Chapel Curve now onto the Hanger Straight. You see Little Leach and Keegs in the background. Through the Chapel Curve now, then onto the Hanger Straight we go. Where's Welshie? Oh, he's down the Wellington Straight, having a hard time of that. Cam struggling through the where is that? That's coming onto the Wellington Straight, so Cam struggling there. Swinfins also coming through Maggots and Beckett's. So let's have a look at Sutty, who's coming through the final part of the track. Is there any improvement for him as he'll get an extra lap in? No improvement this time around, so will he improve next time? We'll see. Kieran Argent is out on track in the Mercedes, you can see, and may struggle coming through this last part of the track here. You see puddles all around. Got to be careful going onto Wellington Straight. And I tell you what, Kieran has probably took that the best we've seen anybody take that. Kieran's took that as if it's bone dry. We see Gary off and struggling to get back on. So the practice session is over. Little Leach in the pits, Phil in the pits, Alfie's in the pits, we know about that. Swinfins is coming to finish his lap time. Is there any improvement from Swinfins this time around as he crosses the line, runs a bit wider than he'd have probably wanted? No improvement from Swinfins there. Where's Cam? Not about to finish yet. Welshie will finish his lap time. And will we see anything from Welshie as he comes round Stowe down Vale? There's only 1 car in front of him on track now. Is that? That is. It's the Stealth Sloth. What is he going to do as he crosses the line? No improvement from the Stealth Sloth, but here comes Welshie. Can he improve on his 2:18? No, he's capable of a 2:4 round here, which would put him at the top of the standings, but in the wet conditions, no improvement from him. There's Cam with Kieran on the straight. No other car in front of them. I do believe the only car left on the lap after this is Sutty, who you may see in the background of these two. Yeah, Swinfins is done, so there's Cam. Will we see an improvement from Cam? Kieran will obviously do his first time. So we'll see what kind of lap time Kieran can post in. As Cam crosses the line and doesn't do any improvement, Kieran is off as he resets the car to get going. So what will his first lap time be? Sutty has pitted. Kieran can't even get it back going through the final bit and on the straight. As he resets the car again, has to do a 3-point turnaround and should cross the line to finish the time, and that will complete everybody else's practice. So a good first practice there, a good amount of laps for people, and it was ultimately Sutty Apex who was the quickest man on track in the first practice in the changeable conditions from Stealth Sloth. Little Leach, Gary third, so maybe the Mercedes for Team Leach Motorsport is the way to go. And then Kieran bringing up the rear, but didn't get a proper chance to set any times. Swinfin's a good bit of time for him, and Cam and Alfie. Welshie not getting the laps in he may have wanted. But all in all, a good first bit of practice there. As we get ready for everybody to start. So the grid is completely randomised. I've actually put Gary Leach on pole from Keegs. Swinfin starts third with Sutty Apex fourth, Alfie fifth, Little Leach in sixth, Stealth Sloth eighth, Welshie ninth, Phil 10th, Cam 11th, and Kieran Argent actually starts at the back. But as we say, this is for nothing. This is just a bit of fun here, this one lap. We're just waiting for the drivers to ready up. And we're away then for this one lap around Silverstone, and already carnage on the first part. Swinfin's getting involved in a bit of an incident, as we see Cam, who looked like he was flipping through the air, is on his roof there. Phil was also involved in that incident, so not quite sure what's happened. Cam hopefully has a reset button, otherwise could be out of that race. Kieran looked like he was involved as well, but it's Sutty Apex who's off the line and in the lead. Where is Gary? Don't think Gary's on the grid. I think we've lost Gary Apex. Mixing Sutty and Gary together there. I think we've lost Gary from the one lap race, but Sutty leads the way in the Lamborghini from Keegs in the Mercedes. Welshie hassling the younger lad, hassling the younger generation of the Welsh household. Give him a flash of the lights, Chris, as he looks to Sutty send one up the inside, but can't do it there. Another battle in the background on this one lap race is Alfie, as he just probably cuts a bit too much of the corner, and the Stealth Sloth really improving on his racecraft here. Kieran Argent then currently in 6th with Phil P7. Little Leach is 8th after he's off, and Swinfins is 9th. We have lost Cam from the race. Like I say, it's only one lap. We've also lost Gary 131. Sutty out front though. Welshie still not letting his son get away from him, and Keegs is under the pressure. Can he feel it? The Stealth Sloth trying to get past Alfie. In fact, has got past Alfie up the inside, and will Kieran get Alfie as well? He does. So Alfie losing not one but two places there as he runs wide, and Phil now trying to get on the back of Alfie as well as they come in towards Maggots and Beckett's. Welshie still on the back of Keegs within that second mark, which is why the exclamation mark is there. It is just a one lap race, and I bet I know what this man's going to say as he crosses the line. A bit of grazie della grazie from Sutty, and probably the Fastio Lapio, considering he's led from start to finish. We see Alfie off in the background as we went on board Sutty coming down the hanger straight, so not sure what's happened there. But the one lap race is going to come to an end as we get ready to go to Austria and find out what that practice session will hold for us. But it is going to be Graham Sutcliffe, aka Sutty Apex, with a flash of the lights as he crosses line to Tech P1. Keegs with a flash of the lights for Team Iron Brew will come home in second. The Welshenia will come home in third, with the uncle in fourth. Kieran Argent will come home to Tech P5. Little Leach, after his early dramas, will come home to Tech P6, with Phil in seventh. Alfie round at the moment And Swimfin's cutting across the chicane. So Swimfin's looks like he's going to come home to Tech P8. Keegs has asked in chat if we could put a 3-lap race. That's something we can do. So yeah, we lost Cam and we lost Gary from the start of that race. Let's get, while we go back to the lobby to change to the Austria weather and everything, let's get Kieran Argent, the other admin, into the party. So to the Red Bull Ring, and with that, the weather that is brought with it is different. Not only is it not 4 weather slots, I think it's down to 2. It's just the 2 weather slots, and it being overcast and then just heavy cloud. So nothing too major. The thing you've got to watch here is tyre temperatures. Shouldn't be anything bad, but a dry spell here at the Red Bull Ring. Now what we'll do is we'll wait for the drivers to just ready up so that we know if they're trying different cars they can give us the go ahead, so that we know they're in the correct car. Swimfins has readied up. So just being told as well in my ear as we say good evening to Kieran.
Good evening.
Are we well?
Yeah, just say getting ready for the holidays, so make sure that was all done before I jumped on.
All packed and ready to go?
Pretty much, just last little bits.
Nice. So just to confirm, MC Motorsport, and they are going to run in the yellow liveries, the yellow and blue for Stovsloff and the yellow and green for Welsh. So they've clearly decided on their liveries for the season, as I think we're all ready to go. Gary and Little each look like they're trying the Mercedes. Keegs is ready. Cam giving a go in the Ferrari. Kieran, you're in the Mercedes as well.
Yeah.
So we'll get underway. Different weather conditions. You obviously missed most of the first practice session. Yeah. You managed to get 1 lap in, as you say, you're packing for your holidays.
Wet.
Yeah.
It put me out on wet tyre on a bone dry track, so that didn't really go very well.
No. Sutty getting a good bunch of laps in, even with a wet running. So you know it's important to get the running in the car with both conditions for what will be in the race.
Yeah, no, definitely. As I say, me and my teammate are all deciding which Mercedes to use. I say my teammate, it's not confirmed yet, but we're looking like we're going to be together. He likes the 2012 Mercedes and I like the 2015 Mercedes. So.
Yeah. Gary131 in the chat saying that you've only just been on holiday, puts a few exclamation marks.
Yeah, I was meant to be I was meant to go to Tenerife now, so that's why basically all my holidays at the start of the year got cancelled. So holiday in the start of the year got cancelled, and I've got to use holiday before December. So
yeah, get them in while you can. So 11 cars on track. Dean Wasaki still not with us. Was one of the other guys that put down he was available tonight. Is still not with us at the moment. So hopefully Dean can get on maybe for the last practice. If not, we'll see if Dean will be there tomorrow. You can see everybody starting to come out on track at the moment. We've got Kieran, who is the first man out. All about the lap times. Who's that just behind? That is Alfie, who's come out just behind him, with Little each behind Alfie. Who's next up the hill? That's Gary131 with Sooty Apex behind him.
Just a recap on the last race. Gary got disqualified off jump start.
Oh, disqualified on a jump start. Well, there's
no drive-through, is there?
No, yeah. That'll teach him.
That's fine. And then Fatty apparently on the wheel / pad. He's not confirming or denying.
He's said he's racing the wheel, so we'll have to wait and see. He did a 2:04 on an early dry time at Silverstone in the practice before it started to train. So I know that's a bit off of Sutty's pace, so I do believe that could possibly be the wheel. As I say that, he spins at this corner and looks a bit twitchy there, so we'll have to wait and see what Sutty is on. But everybody out on track at the minute, even Welsh in the, as we can confirm for MC Motorsport, in the yellow and green, with Stealth Sloth in the yellow and blue. I must say it is a nice colour, that. As we see Alfie just rejoining from track there. There's Phil behind. I do believe that is confirmed liveries from Phil and Sutty as well. The black with green for Sutty, and then the black with orange for Phil. Kieran, you're still obviously, like I say, testing, nothing confirmed. Cam in the Ferrari.
Tyres are struggling to get warm around here, I must admit. Down and back, and the tyres are still light blue.
Yeah, and this could be something that's brought along with the weather, the changing weather conditions. This could be something that is playing a factor there, as we see Welshie off and Alfie off as well. So on board with Sutty Apex then, as we just jumped on to Kieran. We go on to Sutty in his round. So Kieran is then the first man out on track, with Gary 131 hassling him from behind with a flash of the lights. I think Gary in the older Mercedes, I do believe, not quite sure. We head up towards turn 2. Let's try and find the track names for these, and I will murder the pronunciation.
I've been garred.
He's been Garasakid. I will probably murder some of this pronunciation for the Red Bull Ring. I apologise, but we'll give it a go, ready for the season. Oh yeah, this is going to go absolutely brilliant. So we're coming through, I think it's Roch at the moment, into Worth. No, we're not there, we're at Worth now. The left, right. Down the straight then towards Rint.
So used to playing this in F1, I've got to learn braking things again.
Yeah, it's a completely different track on F1 to this. Then into the Red Bull Mobile. That one's easy, and so's turn 1. Turn 1's quite easy. It's called Castrol Edge.
Formerly known as the A1 ring, isn't it?
Yeah, it was the A1 ring back in the day. Jamie Brazier, get adders to teach you. Yeah. Yeah, if only. As we head up then, uphill towards Remus. Turn 2, I think we may go with on the night. We see Stealth Sloth has actually set the best time at the moment, a 1:35.3. Kieran up on his time, he's currently sitting P4 with a 1:35.9. And it's not looking the brightest of days here at the Red Bull Ring. We know it's overcast into heavy cloud, so that's not going to help anybody's cause. So they've really got to get the pressure down, the tyres warmed up as they come round. Kieran still the first car on track. Let's just jump on with the Stealth Sloth, who's just lost the rear as I jump on board with him round Sklos Gold. Like I say, if I've murdered the pronunciation, I apologise, but hey ho. Sutty with his Lamborghini lights are bright as they come through Roach. Again, Stealth Sloth not taking it just a bit wide and running into the gravel. Everybody has set a lap time, and we have Swimfins, who's currently 20 seconds off the pace of the Stealth Sloth. You know, it's still a learning curve, and this for Gary, he looked a bit twitchy there, did Gary. Maybe the tyre's still not up to full temperature as him and Kieran are about to cross the line. Does Kieran improve on his time? Yeah, he doesn't, takes it on to P1, and Gary improves as well and goes second fastest. Sutty Apex shoots up the order onto pole. Well, onto first, with Phil going up to fourth then in the two Lamborghinis. The Stealth Sloth, no improvement as he had a bit of dramas. Yeah. Little Leach has gone up to P7 in his Mercedes. Here comes Cam across the line and improves, puts him up to P8 where his Welshie is there. Keegs is just in front of him, so let's see what Keegs can do. Any improvement from the Team Iron Brew man? No. What about for Welshie for MC Motorsport? No improvement neither. Next to cross the line will be Alfie, so let's see if he can improve on his 1:49. Currently 16 seconds off the pace, so let's see if he's managed to get around any quicker this time round. Two Porsches on the grid, Kieran, that's an interesting choice.
Who's running the Porsches?
Alfie and Swimfins, as Alfie does improve and goes ahead of Cam and Welshie. Swimfins then just to set his lap time, but pulling into the pit lane. So yeah, Alfie and Swimfins, oh no, not pulling into pit lane.
From last year, maybe.
Possibly going for what they know on a previous league. Interesting choice. Did the Porsche cross your mind?
No, not at all. The Acura crossed my mind, and then like I say, I went quicker in this car in qualifying.
As Swinfins also improves it.
In the wrong Mercedes for qualifying.
Brilliant.
So that's in the 2012 Mercedes when I thought I was in this one.
So Gary going to cross the line here. And no improvement this time. What about Sutty? Any improvement from him? Slight improvement. And Phil gone into P2 with a big improvement. But the Stelfsloff's gone now into P2. Currently just 6/10 off of Sutty's time. So that's a good lap from the Stelfsloff on what may be considered to be a bit of a Lamborghini circuit, this one. Lamborghini quick on the straights. So maybe a bit of a Lamborghini track. Where's Keegs? He's just crossing the line as Cam improves slightly. Keegs currently running in P7. I have to say, not the quickest Mercedes out there. He crosses the line now and still no improvement. And for Welshie, he improves and goes ahead of the young Welsh. Welshinia goes into P7. Currently 2.3 off the fastest lap. So the top three are Lamborghinis. Then 4th, 5th and 6th are all Mercedes. 7th for Lamborghini, 8th is a Mercedes, and Cam's down in 9th in a Ferrari, but he's up on his time at the moment. As Alfie actually goes P9, and we have the other Team Iron Brew member. Mazda has decided to join us, so it's nice to see the other admin on, or Craig Deacon is on holiday. And if he's watching, a good evening to you, the 4th admin. Alfie has gone quicker than Cam, and he's currently 4 seconds off the pace as Swinfins is coming through the final corner now. And let's see if he can improve as he gets the power down out the final corner. Can he improve? Sutty is just behind him, so let's see if Swinfins improves first of all. No improvement there, just slightly down on his time as Sutty crosses the line. And there is an improvement for Sutty, but the Stelfsloff, can he get any quicker? Kieran's gone a bit quicker. Nothing from the Stelfsloff. Where's Gary? He's here. Any improvement from him? Nope, not this time round. 11 seconds down, so he must have had a moment. Phil doesn't improve neither. Little Each coming around the last corner now. Will be the next man to cross the line.
I just seem to have issues with turn 1. The rear just keeps coming round on me on mid to late corner entry. Mid to late corner.
Interesting. As Cam then crosses the line. And there is a bit of an improvement from Cam, just a slight one, as Keegs has improved up into P5. And Welshie again improves up into P8. Mazda is now with us on track. I do believe if we just go on board Mazda ever so quickly. Oh, as he pulls out the pit box just before I say that. Running in the Mercedes, the 85 machine. What number's Keegs in? Keegs in the 86. So is that the team liveries? I'm wondering if Mazda or Keegs is in chat to possibly confirm that with us. As Mazda has Alfie coming up on the back of him. Alfie currently sits P9 at the moment. Swinfins just keeping out of Kieran's way there.
Help me out mid corner. So, but it's everyone's learning. So
yeah, it's all practice. It's not about it's not the season at the moment. We see the laps at the moment. Swinfin's currently the only guy who's on 4. Mazda obviously just joined the lobby, so he's only done 1 lap. But it is Sutty who is on 5 laps and has come across to start his 6th, and there's no improvement now. Can the Stelfsloff, who is just about to come past Swinfins, improve this time around? No, not for him. What about Gary? There is an improvement from Gary to go 2nd. Phil also improves to put him now 2nd. Where's Kieran Argent? He's actually span at the exit of turn 1. Keegs and Cam battling on track.
After I stopped in the middle on the right hand side of the track, and I felt someone hit me. Someone I was spanning.
Keegs has just Keegs has just got past Cam there. So does Keegs improve as he crosses the line? No improvement. Cam does improve slightly. Where's Welshie? Welshie's put it up into P6. Little Leach down currently in P8 as Alfie's about to come across the line to finish his lap. I think that's Mazda just in front of him. Yeah, Mazda just having a bit of a moment there, knocking a few cones onto the track as Alfie's coming. Jamie Brazier, I wonder if the Ferrari is quicker than the F1 car in a straight line. Evening to Monkey Boy and Daniel Francis. Team Freaks Lamborghini will be on track tomorrow at some point. Mazda keeping out the way of Alfie there as Alfie ghosted past, so I don't know if Mazda was aware that Alfie was there. I think Mazda's the one that could see Alfie and Alfie can't see him, but no improvement from Alfie either way. Here is Swinfins, who doesn't look quick. Looks like he must have had a bit of a bad lap here. He's currently 6 seconds down on his time. Stelfsloff, I tell you what, to say this guy's only had the game for 4 days, he's up there. He's in front of some big names like Little Leach. Obviously, Mazda's not done a time yet. He's currently in front of Gary on track, and Gary, I must say, look, that Mercedes looks a bit of a handful for him, as Stealth Sloth is going to cross the line now, and there is no improvement. Any improvement for Gary? Yep, half a second, and improves and goes up to P3. But it's currently the team with no name, but the Northern lads currently sit first and second, separated by 7/100ths of a second. As Kieran Argent is in the pits. Let's just jump on board with Mazda, who's on his first timed lap, see what he can do. Oh, that Mercedes looking very twitchy at the moment. Is it just a case of the Mercedes warming up its tyres?
It did take about 2.5 laps for Mercedes to warm its tyres.
Mazda and Keegs must be in chat, so we'll, instead of getting the other admin in here, we'll leave Mazda and Keegs to focus as a team. Obviously, the other guys that you could possibly team with not on tonight. I think they're all testing tomorrow night as Mazda crosses the line and sets a 1:39.4, but the Mercedes did look a bit of a handful, so will he go again here? Cam is in the pits, and as you can see there, Kieran was leaving the pits. Alfie has also just pitted. Who's coming down the start straight at the moment? It's Sutty Apex, and I tell you what, he's got the most laps in P1, and this being practice 2 technically. Let's see what he can get in here as he crosses the line. He's half a second quicker there, so goes 6/10 quicker than his teammate exactly, who is behind Gary then. And with it being a bit more of a Lamborghini circuit, this one, does Gary improve? No. Does Phil? Yes, by 0.04 of a second, so he's brought that gap down to just over 0.5 of a second between him and his teammate Sutty. The Northern boys and Kieran really getting their foot down and really getting the laps in and the times that they want.
Yeah, no, I say it's all about getting time, getting the practice in, and getting them lap times down for the season, especially that we're running the same weather in this session we will be in the race.
Yeah, and that's one of the important things, I think, isn't it, is to get these lap times in. We see Little Each currently struggling down in P8. Jamie Brazier in chat, suggestions for any Norfolk team names? I think that's for him and Cam. I think him and Cam are going together as a team in the Pro-Am category. As we're on board with Little Each here, not seen much of him on this Austrian lap. Where's Mazda as we know Little Each is at turn 2? Mazda's about to cross the line now, so this should be his first pretty much respectable lap time, and it puts him P8, improved by nearly 5 seconds. He's currently 2.4 off the pace. That's put Little Each down to 9th. But the interesting thing for me, Kieran, is that as Mazda's ran wide on the exit to turn 1 and returns to the pit box. The interesting for me, Kieran, is the top 2 being the Lamborghinis, 3rd and 4th Mercedes, 5th a Lamborghini, 6th a Mercedes, 7th a Lamborghini, 8th and 9th for Mercedes, 10th Porsche, 11th Ferrari and 12th Porsche again. But it's really mixed between these Lamborghinis and Mercedes drivers up the top end of the grid.
They're the 2 cars to have. In all fairness, I was expecting to see at least an Acura or maybe an Audi in there somewhere, but no, I think Mercedes and the Lamborghini were the cars to have.
Daniel Francis, team name for Jamie Brazier is Norfolk and Chance. I like that one, Daniel. As Little Each is about to cross the line here, we said we'd pick him back up at the end of his lap, and he has gone 1.074 seconds quicker, so he's currently 1.9 off the leader, and he's only gone above Mazda, who is back out on track. And what I'm just looking at Mazda's livery here, he's in a grey with like yellow stripes, number 85, and Keegs is in black with green, number 86. I'm wondering if they're the liveries that them two have chosen. You see Mazda weaving out of turn 2, really trying to get the heat in them tyres, and that is his teammate Keegs just behind him, who currently now sits P3, just 1,000th of a second behind Phil. So not much in that at all, but really putting the pressure on.
I'm going to give the soft tyres a go and see how they work around it. They seem to have a bit more grip at the end of the back straight when before in the harder tyre I was losing the rear.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but
Yeah, I'm wondering if this is the problem for Mazda, Gary, Keegs and Little Leach losing the rear. We see Mazda really heavily warming the tyres up, as we are on board with Keegs now. Let's go to the laps in, and we see Sutty, Phil, Gary and the Stealth Sloth all on 10 laps themselves. Mazda of course only has 3, but Mazda can be forgiven as he turned up to the session a little later. Keegs is about to cross the line, start his 10th lap. There he goes, and no improvement that time around from Keegs. Phil did improve a bit there. The top 4 separated by 9/10 of a second. No improvement from Welshie. Where's the Stealth Sloth? He's on a lap. Kieran mid-lap. Little Leach crosses the line and no improvement. Mazda's just gone out of turn 1. Alfie's in the pits. Here comes Cam towards the back part of the track. Swimfin's just in front, coming out the last corners. We'll just check Swimfin's as he crosses the line, and then we'll jump onto Cam. Any improvement for Swimfin's here? No, not from Swimfin's. And any improvement from Cam? Nothing from Cam neither. Where is Sutty Apex? There is actually a car slow. That is a Mercedes. That's you who was slow, clearly getting the blue flags to say that Sutty's there. Gary's left the session. Now, is this a change of car for Gary? Can he not get on with the Mercedes? So is this a change of car? Monkey Boy says, are we running the same tracks tomorrow? Yes, we will be. We'll be doing Silverstone, Austria and the Nürburgring in the same weather conditions as well. There's no improvement for Sutty Apex this time around. Where's Phil? Cam has also left the session, so is this a chance for Cam to change cars? We'll wait and see.
Turn 1 is definitely better on the softer tyre.
Gary. Gary back in the server as Phil crosses the line and no improvement. Cam has also rejoined the server, and I tell you what, I've just jumped onto Keegs, and Mazda was very twitchy on the exit of the second to last corner, the Rint corner, and Keegs crosses the line and shows no improvement. What about Senior Welsh? Little Leach, he's left the session as well, so is he jumping in the same car for Leach Motorsport? No improvement for Welsh. Or Welshie, apologies. Here's the Stealth Sloth. He has Phil just in the background. Can he improve on his lap time? Was currently running with Sutty and Phil at one stage, and he's now finds himself down in P5. Obviously, we have lost Gary, Cam, and Little Leach. Going to wait them to return. The Stealth Sloth, though, let's see what he can do here. As we have Cam back in the session, and he's back in the Lamborghini, so maybe that's something that his partner in crime, Jamie Brazier, will be happy with. So 13 guys watching, if you haven't already, please subscribe, and also leave a big like, big thumbs up on the video. Jamie Brazier, where's Cameron gone? Never mind. Yeah, he's there, mate. He's back in the team car, I do believe. Your choice is the Lamborghini, so we could see some Lamborghinis in Group B, already knowing that MC Motorsport of Welshie and Stealth Sloth, and also Team Freaks of McCurtis and TMLS will be in the Lamborghinis. We already know that I do believe Swimfins and Alfie were all running the Porsche, so Cam back out on track then. Stealth Sloth is in the pits, as is Alfie at the moment. Mazda's only up to P7. Obviously after losing Cam, Gary and Little Leach. We haven't got Little Leach and Gary back yet with 9 minutes remaining on this one. Maz looks like it's just got a few scrapes on the car, a few bumps. As Gary's back in the session now, so let's see what Gary. It's what causes the bit of lag, people leaving and rejoining the session, as Little Leach also joins at the same time. And they look, I tell you what, they're in. We are seeing an Acura on track. The blue and pink of, is that Gary? No, Little Leach in the blue and pink, and Gary in the blue and green. Smithy, Stealth Sloth also coming out the pits as Kieran crosses the line and goes P4 ahead of Walshy, so improved on his time. No improvement for Sutty Apex and Swimfins.
I lost about a second on the last sector due to a spinning car. I couldn't quite make out who it was.
Well, that's a shame.
Taking avoiding action very much.
So we've got 2 Acuras on the grid. So let's see on what is pretty much, we've said, a Lamborghini track, but the Nürburgring may not be. So the Acura could be the track for the Nürburgring, but don't forget you can't chop and change car throughout the season. It is a case of select your car before the season, and we'll go from there. So we'll keep an eye on the two Acuras of Little Leach and Gary as we come to them. Cam has just started his first timed lap. Mazda's crossed the line and only just improved by just shy of a tenth to take him 2.3 off the leader in the Lamborghini. Now, I know at one stage Mazda and Keegs was in the Lamborghini as the Stealth Sloth gets it all sideways coming through. I'll tell you what, them Acuras, they're standing out. Blue and pink and blue and green. Where's Keegs, who's managed to get in front of Phil by 0.03 of a second. And here you see, look at Cam, he's got the pace advantage over Keegs down the straight. But Keegs should be better around the corner, if you ask me. As Cam has actually made a mistake. But yeah, Keegs, the Mercedes at a disadvantage down the straight, but at an advantage across the court through the corners. So let's see if Keegs is up on his time throughout this lap. As they are coming through the second intermediate. No, he's half a second down. Where's Sutty Apex? He's just gone through turn 1. You see Kieran Argent just tucked him behind. And in terms of the lap times, it's that man there again, Sutty, who's currently on 14 laps. He's on his 14th. Keegs is coming around to start his 14th. Phil is also halfway through his 13th lap. So does Keegs improve anything as he crosses the line? No improvement for Keegs. Anybody else on 13 laps is Welsh. He's just about to start his 14th lap. Does he improve any? No improvement for Welsh, but not much down on his time. The Stealth Sloth is on 12, as is Kieran. Stealth Sloth coming out the pits. Kieran Argent on 12 laps as well. Phil is about to start his 14th. Let's see if he's up on his lap time. The other person in double figures is Swimfins. We'll get down to him in just a second. Phil crosses the line and no improvement there. So the other person on good laps is Swimfins. We know Gary and Little Leach was running good laps, but they've both left. So it says they're on 1, about to start their second lap time. As Swimfins is across the grass. Mazda's up to 7, the same as Alfie, and Alfie's not left session yet. So Mazda's really starting to put the lap times in now. But it's Sutty again as he crosses the line and is 2 seconds down on his time here. Where is Kieran Argent? He's just gone into P2. So a very good lap time from the Mercedes. So we say it's a Lamborghini dominated track, but the later this race has gone on, obviously in the race there's a mandatory pit stop. You'll choose whether you want to change tyres or not. But have the Mercedes tyres been better looked after than the Lamborghinis? And this is why we're seeing Kieran and Keegs now second and third after what was heavily Lamborghini dominated at the beginning.
I must admit, I am on a softer tyre, so that might be the reason why I'm a bit higher up than I probably would be.
As Keegs crosses the line, and no improvement from him. Where's Phil? He's halfway around lap. Welshie, he's diving into the pit lane. Cam is about to finish his lap. Does he go any quicker? Yep, 4 seconds quicker, but puts him 5.7 off the leader. Where's Mazda on track? He's just finished the lap. He's only 1.1 off the lead lap now, so again, that's another Mercedes. It's starting to creep up on his lap times compared to the other guys. We know Mazda's done about half the laps that Sutty has, but still, he's also up on his delta as he goes through set 1. Phil crosses the line here, and no improvement for Phil. Welsh is in the pits. Now, is this to top up the fuel? A bit of change of tyres, we'll see. Gary's currently gone P8, but don't forget he's only done properly 1 timed lap. Little Leach has gone P9. He's a second and a half nearly up on his time as he has Alfie just in front of him. Alfie keeps to the left and then comes back across and breaks into the second to last corner. Gary in that Acura. Alfie runs slightly wide there and Gary gets through. Now, what can Gary do in the Acura as he comes down to cross the line? Will it bump him up any on the leaderboard? He crosses the line now, goes 1.5 seconds quicker, and he's a 10th behind the Stealth Sloth. Where's Little Leach? He's coming towards the last corner now. Is he up on his time in the Acura as well? He is, and is 3.1 off the leader. Keegs, no improvement from him. Was that his teammate Mazda? Yeah, well, Mazda's gone 6/10 quicker, and that puts Mazda into third, just 2/10 off of Kieran, half a second behind Sutty, and only a couple of thousandths ahead of his teammate Keegs, hundredths ahead of his teammate Keegs, sorry. So these Mercedes looking stronger later in the session than what the Lamborghinis are, but Sutty has put one heck of a lap time in. That's got to be a pad time. We'll have to bring him in for a few words in just a moment. After this practice session, but before the race, after the race, sorry. As Phil, I say that the Mercedes are getting better. As Phil and Stealth Sloth have just gone third and fourth in their Mercedes respectively. The top six are covered by half a second. So if we get this on the night, even though the Stealth Sloth is Pro-Am, if we get this on the night, this could be fantastic racing. As Sutty is in the pits. So while he's in the pits, let's try and grab him for an interview. Yeah, it's either that or they just have pitted to come back out fully. Let's have a look. Keegs is in the pit box and Sutty is making a pit stop, so let's see if we can get him in. Where's Kieran on track? He's coming to the end of the lap. How's the car feel now though, Kieran?
It's a lot more better on the rear in turn 1 and turn 5, I want to say, at the end of the back straight after the uphill hairpin.
Yeah.
The rear doesn't let go on the softer tyre. Might be beneficial to run in a race.
As Mazda crosses the line and goes 3 seconds slower, Sutty leaves the pits. We may not get word from Sutty. Sorry, carry on, kid.
I was going to say it feels a lot more stable under mid corner to late corner on the softer tyre, but that might be due to the temperature we're running at the moment.
Yeah. So we see Welsh on lap 16, Keegs on lap 16, Sutty's on his 17th lap, Phil's on his 16th lap. Where is Phil? He's just started. Is that his 17th lap? He's just started, yeah. So the two Northern boys. Keegs is in the pit, so it doesn't look like he's going to get another lap time in. Welsh currently P8. He may get onto lap 17. Phil should get another lap in after this. Oh, no, he's gone deep at turn 2. He might not, actually. Sutty, so it could be Sutty again setting the times for the top two. Don't forget to go over to the Facebook page as well and like the Facebook page. We'll put the link in the description. Go ahead and like that and you'll be able to keep up to date with all the events, obviously the stuff that you can't see behind the closed doors of the Facebook group, the admin group and things like this, but things you can go ahead and see on the page. I'll put the link in the description right now as well, so you can go and do that. So go ahead and give it a good thumbs up and follow the page, and yeah, you should be able to keep up to date with the latest news and events of the Simplay Motorsport group and what's been happening.
I'm going to vault this out. I've got 2 seconds to get around 2 corners. Not now.
Yeah, if you haven't done already, like I say, go and hit the like button on the Facebook page. The link is in the description. And as we are completing this, so people come to the end of their laps. Sutty has done 19 laps. Phil, I do believe he's on a lap. He may get to do his 19th. He's going to come into the pit lane. Gary in the Acura is only 3/10 off for Sutty. Sutty's gone quicker. So did he do what you did and put the soft tyre on, Kieran? But Sutty's gone quicker. Gary's gone second in the Acura. Kieran, you're currently third. Phil sits P4 with Stealth Sloth P5. Mazda's 6th in the Mercedes, 1 second back, with Keegs in 7th place. Little Each in his Acura, only 1.5 off the pace, but he's still there in that Honda Acura, if you like, in P7. Now, don't forget, Gary and Little Each did set times, but obviously then came back. And also came back on, so obviously they lost all their lap times. Well, she finished in P9, even though he set good, did quite a few lap times, only 1.6 off the pace. And then Alfie, Cam, and Swimthings brought up rear. Sutty, are you on the pad or the wheel tonight, mate?
I'd like to say I'm on the wheel, but we know that isn't true. I'm on the pad tonight.
That's one heck of a lap time there, and hats off to Gary. You know, it's a Lamborghini track, you have to say, with it being quite quick. Hats off to Gary and Kieran Argent for being second and third in the Mercedes and the Acura.
Yeah, it's really, really good. But I started losing tyre wear towards about 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
So I still filled pit, and then the last lot I put the softs on.
Yeah, me and Kieran were saying that in the chat, that we wonder if the Mercedes was sort of saving their tyres a bit better than the Lamborghini, and that's why the Mercedes started to jump up. You've been the guy who's got the most laps in the first practice and now this practice. Track time important with the different weather conditions?
I think, yeah, it's also just learning the tracks and sort of trying to guess where puddles are going to form, which I think is going to be interesting. I haven't really practiced this track in the wet as well.
Well, the weather conditions there was the weather conditions for the race. This is what's going to be used for the race. Your teammate Philip there on this one in P4, so, you know, clearly setting some pace for... Do we have a team name yet? We know you've got the liveries. Have we got a team name?
We don't have yet. We didn't decide on one.
Fair enough. Well, I'll let you get your 3-lap race. I presume you'll be in the commentary box for the 3-lap race.
I will be, yeah. I'll stay with you.
Yeah, that's fine. And we're underway then. It was Gary who started on pole. In fact, it was both Acuras on the front row. And I tell you what, the brightly blue with pink and green liveries, as Alfie defended from Sutty Apex here, who just has a bit of a tap with Cam. So it's Gary from Little Each. Sutty has made his way up into 3rd place. Cam in 4th. Let's see the Lamborghinis progress here. Alfie sits 5th, but looks like he could lose that position to Stealth Sloth. In fact, if not Stealth Sloth, now Welshie, who are hassling the back of that Porsche. But Alfie looks well placed with the car to keep it there. And Welshie's braked on the grass, but has managed to hold that. Hats off to him for keeping that. Bit of carnage behind. Cam's in the wall there, and Phil's made his way up into P7. Stealth Sloth down to 8th, with Kieran sitting 9th. Keegs is in 10th. 11th is Swimfins, and Mazda's 12th. Now, is Mazda just keeping out of trouble, or what's he doing there? Not quite sure. Obviously, the 3 laps mean count for nothing, but Sutty Apex has passed Little Each and is hassling Gary. But look at Gary tapping Sutty, and they both managed to keep it together. Little Each went up the inside, so the Acura still leads, but it's just the other one. It is the Acura of Little Each as Gary gets a bit twitchy coming through the left-right corner. Sutty in the middle of these two. Back to 4th though. Hats off to Alfie in a pretty damaged car as Kieran gets a twitch and into the side of the Stealth Sloth he goes. Alfie and what is a pretty damaged car, currently running P4 with Cam in 5th place. Keegs has made his way up to 6th. In fact, no, take that, he's down into 8th place. Swimfins is running P7 as Phil just goes past him for 6th. Keegs down in 8th, so Swimfins up to P7, so a good first lap for him. Welchie currently 9th with Kieran in 10th. Stealth Sloth after we saw that incident with Kieran running 11th. And I'm not sure what Mazda's doing here, but he's ever so slow. Welshie's into the pit lane. Mazda is ever so slow here on this 3 laps. Is he just seeing it? They've waited for the Nürburgring test. Kieran in the pits, Stealth Sloth in the pits as well. And look at that, Gary has repassed Sutty Apex as they head through turn 2. Sutty hassling the back of these Acuras. And for people who criticise the Acura, it's not such a bad car now, is it? As it's beating the Lamborghini on a quick, speedy track here. And Gary defending heavily from Sutty Apex, who goes left, he looks right, but he cannot get the move done. Tries around the outside and don't do it there. You can't get it done around there, it's too long. Oh, look at Gary, heavy defending, forcing Sutty onto the grass, and I'm sure he'll be laughing and joking about that in the PlayStation party later. But Sutty furious at that, and he won't be happy. A flash of the lights, I think. in the background further back. So he's just biding his time, but we see Cam, we see the little exclamation mark on Cam as Phil gains to the back of Cam, and in fact Phil and Cam have passed Alfie. So where's Alfie? Oh, he's had a bit of a spin, so Keegs is now up to 6th. Shout out to Swimfins, who's just ran right onto the gravel. He's running P8 ahead of Mazda, who's not really pushing, did a 2:11 last lap. Stealth Sloth is out the pits, as is Kieran Argent, and Welshie is just coming out the pit lane as Little Leach is crossing the line. So Welshie will be a lap down as we head on to the final lap. It's now or never for Sutty, but he looks a bit far back this time round. Is it going to be a Leach Motorsport 1-2 in the Acura in the testing? Cam in the pit lane, so obviously damage for Cam. That puts Keegs up into P5. Is Mazda not wanting to show his colours at the moment and give anything away too soon? Are Gary and Craig giving it away? Are Sutty giving it away? Alfie running P6 now. Swimfin should pass Cam as well to go into P7. But look at this, 3 for the lead as Mazda has passed Cam as well. 3 for the lead here as Sutty Apex really trying to put the pressure on Gary 131 of Leach Motorsport. And Sutty looks around the outside again, and if he can keep it up the inside, he'll be up the inside for the next corner, and Gary's going to try and muscle him out the way, but I don't think he can do it. Is Gary just in front? We know Sutty loves Ascend It, and he's kept his nose there, and Gary has to give him the room, and they lean on each other and touch. A lot of respect being shown here from these two drivers, and Gary manages to keep in front here. And the Northerner, Sutty Apex, cannot find his way past the Southerner of Gary Leach. It's a North v South battle, and the South are winning, and it will be Little Leach who will come home to take the race win here. Gary runs ever so wide, and is that the last chance for Sutty to look up the inside? I don't think so. Little Leach has got it a bit out of shape, and here comes Little Leach and Gary. Sutty may throw up the middle. It's a flash of the lights from all three of them. A photo finish, and it's Gary who takes the win from Little Leach. Sutty Apex to finish 3rd. Phil is going to come home. Welchie will come home 12th with a lap down. Phil will get a P4. So good for the two Northerners, a 3rd and 4th. Keegs for Team Iron Brew in what I can confirm because I've spoke with Mazda. That is the team colours. So Keegs will take a P5. Alfie is going to come home in P6. And I'd just like to say, what a race that was between the three. I know it means nothing, but what a race. Alfie comes home and takes P6. Mazda's going to cross the line for 7th. Swimfin's a span, 2nd to last corner, and loses out to Cam. So Cam will cross the line for P8. Unfortunately there. So Chris will get P8. Swimfin's P9. Kieran's going to take P10.
I think I'm the last running car, aren't I?
No, I think Stealth Sloth is.
It was a good race, that.
Thanks in chat, says Chris Forbes. Great driving and commentating. Gary131. Sorry, Sutty, just playing with you, man. And Alfie says, good job, it was fun. Cam would have been in the steward's office with a wink face after. As Kieran crosses the line for P10, and the Stealth Sloth will bring up the rear for P11 as we head into what will be the final practice of the evening. We've enjoyed it tonight. It's been fun. Sutty, I'll let you get back into your little party. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, no problem. Sorry I couldn't talk as much.
No, you're fine. We got the questions we wanted to ask. Just join us. And what are you hoping to get at the Nürburgring with the bit of weather that we have?
Just for testing now. I don't know if I'll be here for the race, but I might just do like a little bit of testing. I haven't done much around the Nürburgring, so I don't expect me to be anywhere up towards the top, but we'll just see what happens.
Try and get a good number of laps in again.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Well, best of luck, mate.
Alright, cheers, Matt.
Kieran, how was that one for you then in the sunny race around there? Was the Mercedes better than it was?
I'd say I was involved in on camera, so by the time I got back running, I thought on my own, so I didn't really get time to run against other people to see where I was quicker, where I was slower, etc. Yeah,
I'm with you. So
I must admit, I want to apologise to the two involved in the second incident, but kind of my fault. Trying to run 3 into 1 doesn't really work, and I'll probably be in the guilty party.
Enjoy Nürburgring, catch you later. So we have lost Alfie for this one. You can't obviously stick around for the last one. unfortunately. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give the video a good like. I've invited Mazda in, so we'll see if we get Mazda in for a quick, just a quick word. Obviously, clearly, unless Dean gets on within the next half an hour. So the Nürburgring weather is going to be fog with rain to hazy. So this could be a crucial one here, Kieran. Fog with rain. You know, how wet is it going to be? As well as what's the visibility going to be like?
Yeah, I've not really raced fog on the game before, so again, it's going to be a new one for me. And I say weather, depending on where the puddle forms, depending on what you can achieve.
Yeah, well, this is a test, so if the fog with rain doesn't work, we as admins may have to rethink the fog with rain, but it is changing to hazy, so we'll have to see what happens.
It's not the clearest, must admit. It's that you can't see very far in the front.
Yeah, just on board with you. On cockpit view as well as you head down towards turn 1. Looks like normal rain that you'd find on a normal rainy sort of day, so the track doesn't look overly wet. Looks like we had at Silverstone. But the visibility is going to be the issue, the real issue here, isn't it?
Especially if people don't run lights as well.
Yeah, well, for those drivers that are part of the channel, don't forget it is in the rules and regulations to run the lights if the weather deems necessary, and I think this weather does deem necessary. So who's out on track at the moment? I don't think we're going to get a word with Mazda as he's on track. So Mazda's on track, Kieran's on track, Cam is on track, so is Phil, Keegs, Stove Sloth is out on track, Welchie and Swinfin's currently in the pits, Sooty Apex is on track, as is Little Leach and Gary. This could be where we see the Acura took the surprise win in the 3-lap fun race, if you will. This could be a track where the Acura really can shine as well. A lot of slower corners for the Acura to show its true pace. Also the Mercedes, keeping out for that. We'll see what the Lamborghini can do in relation to them two. So the three people I'm tipping to it. In fact, you know what? With Sooty being, if he races on the pad, Sooty could be my favourite to win the Pro Group, as well as Mazda Little Leach or Gary. I think we're going to be in some real racing. Do I think Keegs and Phil could? I think they stand an outside chance, but I think your money's got to be on them guys there. We won't murder any Nürburgring pronunciation of track corners, unfortunately. I must say, visibility looks quite pure.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
That straight of kink, and you couldn't see until the last minute that right hand bend down.
We're on board with Gary's, in fact, close to a few cars. You can make them out. It's not like you can't make them out as he heads down towards, on the straight towards the chicane. Yeah, Mazda's coming up towards the chicane. He's not far behind someone as well. You can make the car out, so it's not like you can't see it, but yeah.
It's more the track referencing, if anything.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, isn't it? I think the track reference is going to be the problem. But we'll see what the weather brings. This may call for a bit of on-board action more than anything.
As much on board as we can. We can all look at the fit footage later and, as admins, and discuss what to do.
Yeah, I don't think it looks too bad in terms of if you're to run the trackside camera, car visibility is you can make out the cars on the close-up cameras as we have a yellow flag up by, I think that's turn 1. That's the final corner, is a yellow flag, but all cars are going again. It's when the cameras start to lose sight of the cars, and then just before they come into shot, visibility is not too bad. Let me know in the stream what you think about this, as this is just purely for testing as well. The fog, Kieran, brings an interesting element to it though, doesn't it?
It does. Say, I've done probably 1,000 a lap around the track, and I think I don't know about the others, but I think I'm struggling with the fog because I've not got my reference points I've normally used.
Yeah.
It's a clear day.
So let's jump on board Kieran then.
I'm letting people pass the run off.
As we see, Sooty Apex is just in front. Visibility not too bad. Track doesn't look too wet like it would do in rain, so it's not, doesn't look overly bad. You can still make out Sooty in front. Like I say, I think it is just more your braking points, isn't it? Where to brake, your reference points. But obviously that's the problem with real racing. You know, if it's a foggy day, we've all got to deal with it, and why not bring it to the sim world? And this is what Simplay Motorsport look to try and replicate as close to real racing as possible, as Kieran just takes too much curb there. Swimfins is now the only car in the pits. Let's wait and see when the fog starts to lift and the weather improves. That's going to be the key thing. Here, 14 people in the chat. Evening to all 14 people, like I say. If you don't already like the Facebook page, go down into the description below and click the link. That'll take you to the Facebook page. Give it a big thumbs up, a like and a follow, as well as subscribe to the YouTube channel. And give this video a thumbs up as well, please. All likes and subscribers much appreciated. Could be interested in driving in it tomorrow night, but not sure how it will be for the stream and commentating. Yeah, we'll have to keep our eyes on it, Peaceful, and see what is happening. As we can see, we are still on board with Kieran at the moment. Sutty has gone fastest, Master just 3/10 behind. A lot of concentration will be needed for the fog, says Monkey Boy. Indeed it will. Jamie Brazier looks fairly difficult in the wet. Kieran, how are you finding it in the wet? Is it difficult?
The wet weather's not a problem. I think it's manageable, but let's say it's learning new reference points, which I'm having trouble with.
Yeah. Well, Gary...
I've got racing line on as well, which is helping, but it's...
Yeah, well, Sutty and Mazda are two that are in the 2-minute 9s. Nobody else is under the 2-minute 10 mark.
Well, I think the tyres are wearing quite quickly as well, though. I think I've done 2.5 laps. And I'd say it's quarter tyre wear.
Master crosses the line and no improvement there. Where's Stealth Sloth? He's currently around. Keegs then, he's coming towards the back end of his lap. As we go back track side, and
with thinner at last corner.
Little Leach in the pits and back out. Swimfins and Welsh is still not yet set a time. Keegs is down on his time quite a bit. Gary then in the Acura, what can he do? He's currently 8.1 down on his time. Is there room for improvement this lap? Let's find out.
I just went into the back of someone.
Yeah, Jamie Brazier says can barely see him, so the fog may have to be rethinked here.
It wasn't that. It's someone stopped on the outside line of turn 1.
Who's that?
I don't know who it was I hit, but I think it was Cam.
Oh, Cam is. Yeah, Cam is the wrong way at turn 1. Weather ain't an issue. It's a fog, says Gary. So the fog may have to be rethought here.
Just run the rain, take all the way. The rain's fine.
Yeah. As Phil's about to do another lap and catches a puddle and loses the rear well, she's still not set a time yet. Michael Matthews, is there a separate option for lighter or heavier fog, or just the one? For the fog with rain, it was just the one option. There is a race with fog, which I'll tell you which one it is now. The race that is running just fog is Algarve at the end of the season, and Bruno is running fog with rain, which is this, and then fog. So Bruno will just pretty much be a full fog race. So fog we'll have to try and look at and see what happens there. But Algarve is running fog at the end of the race, so we'll have to wait and see as we're on board. Well, she was about to finish. I didn't know it was the weather for Brands in October. Yep, random weather was selected as Little Leach has just gone past Welsh Hughes had an off. So Little Leach currently 2 minutes 7 down on his time. Strange time to be down. Chris Forbes. So said Project Cars 3 is such a 180 to this. Yeah, it is a disappointment. New tracks and things as well on Project Cars 3 as well as cars. But yeah, you're right. It is disappointing that it isn't what this is. Could have been so much better. More an arcade game, a mobile phone game than a sim racing game. And here at Simplay Motorsport we only want the best sims or better racing games. I don't know if you can call the F1 one a sim. We're looking to run an F1 season for those who are interested in entering that. On the F1 2019 game at the minute, as it was as 2020, we know that less people have 2020 over 2019 at the moment, so we'll have to keep our eyes on that in the future. Chris, are you a racer, Chris? Do you race much at all? If so, and you're interested in getting involved in a league, don't hesitate to click the link below and send the admin team a message, or add me, Matt Himovich, on the PlayStation, and we can sort something out there. If you're wanting to get involved in a league and race on a Wednesday or Thursday night, don't hesitate to get involved. As we see Mazda still currently 3 cents down, and I tell you what, if Sooty Apex gets first in this, he would have topped the practice session times for all 3 practice sessions. Currently everybody other than Gary131, Little Leach, Welshie, Cam, Phil and Swimfins have done 4 laps. Kieran Argent, Keeg, Stelsloff, Mazda and Sooty Apex all on 4 laps, so maybe coming to finish their 4th lap time, and we'll see. It's disappointing only because they think Scotland is its own country they're trying to escape again. Not sure what you're on about then, Jamie. Chris, you race on Project Cars 2 and ACC. Oh well, it's brilliant. If you're wanting to get involved in the league and you're on PS4, please don't hesitate to search for Simplay Motorsport on Facebook, or like I say, add me, Matt Himovich, in the chat on the PlayStation. I'll spell that out for you. And maybe we can get something sorted. If you was wanting to run league racing, that'd be great to have an extra person on board. Oh, Jamie, when it did, yeah, me and Jamie will go through the tracks on Project Cars 2. I don't know if you was a part of this the other night, Kieran, and was doing the Project Cars 3 tracks. We're looking at the track list, and we got to the United Kingdom or Great Britain, and we read out all the tracks, and we went, oh, Knockhill's not on there anymore. And then it turns out Scotland had its own section and wasn't technically part of Great Britain. So even on the game, the Scottish don't want to be classed under the Welsh, under Great Britain. So
yeah, they got funny names as well. I think Brandvatch was called on one of the videos I see. Brandvatch was called something other than Brands Hatch.
Nah, I think they had the correct names on the website. So I'm not quite sure.
Might be a pre-game. They couldn't officially call it the right name. Maybe on a pre-release.
As Sooty Apex has spun around. Mazda's gone quickest by 0.8 of a second, and the fog's starting to lift now, Kieran.
It is. It's more like smoke now, I must admit. It looks more
yeah. Still struggling to see Mazda, but the fog has lifted, and we could here be starting to see some improvements in lap times with the better weather coming. Mazda 0.8 quicker than Sooty still. Phil's improved, he's gone into P3. Stelsloff down in P4. Still nobody under the 2-minute 10 mark. Mazda's now in the 2-minute 8 area. So a good time from Mazda. He's really trying to get some laps in here. How many laps has he done? Same as Sooty Apex on 5. Nobody else is on 5 yet. Swimfin's still in the pits as Mazda goes past his teammates who is around. Jamie Bracer, I bet you can't do 21 laps on mediums on F1, Matt, at Bahrain. I don't really know. I don't think I've tried. I remember me, Mazda and Gary had a cracking race at Bahrain that came to pit stops. That was good. Mazda ended up winning that one. That was a brilliant little race. Yeah. Kieran, how's your F1 season gone? It's eight DNFs in a row, wasn't it, from start, first 8 races?
Projon 3 times.
Mazda once.
Mazda once. Ricardo'd once.
Once you got disqualified for parking on track and you wasn't even there, it was the AI.
Yeah.
Not your luck, was it, mate?
No. But I didn't win. First race after I did win it though. We did win the home one.
Yeah, you won the British one. And got a podium at Paul Ricard as well, didn't you?
Yeah,
Which was your first points, I do believe, wasn't it? Paul Ricard.
First finish as well.
As you can see Mazda now clearly as the cloud comes over. Now it's all about track development. How quickly does the track dry? I'll get back to you in a minute, Kieran. Mazda currently just down on his time, but the fog is gone.
Luckily, we don't have enough safety cars.
Yeah. I was trying to defend from both Ferraris for 10 laps. What car was you in then? Was you in the Williams then, Jamie, if you was trying to defend from the Ferraris? Because you couldn't have been at the front of the grid. Not if you was defending from a Ferrari, no way. You had to be in the Williams. Jamie says she was quitting the track at Paul Ricard. I can assure you he wasn't. I'll tell you who was under the safety car at Paul Ricard, and that was Sutty trying to pass everybody, the cheeky bugger.
Overtook 4 cars in the last corner.
Yeah, at the safety car. After he ruined his own strategy. Oh, what I've just seen from Mazda there was a dry section of track as Sutty Apex is in the pits. Gary's now up to P3. He's the only man now in the 2-minute 10s. Swinfin's not out on track, so Gary's gone P3. In fact, he was coming to the end of his lap there. Let's stay with Gary just a second. Visibility getting better. The sun looks like it's trying to creep out, so how quick is the track development? And is Gary up on his time this time around? Nope, 3/10 down. Phil then sits P4. Welsh is up to P5 with the Stealth Sloth. P6, Keegs currently sat at the bottom of the pit lane. Not sure why that is. As Sutty's about to leave the pit, so hopefully that's not going to cause an incident. Let's just keep an eye on this. Mazda, oh, Keegs is away now. Mazda's just gone even faster. There's Little Leach coming towards the end of his lap. That's the Stealth Sloth part at the side. Little Leach is 5.1 seconds up on his time, so this is really going to help him here. Let's keep an eye on his time and see where he progresses up the order.
Okay, there's a big puddle on the inside of the Slight King back straight before our chicane.
Right.
I've just hit it.
You've just hit it.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Found out the hard one.
As Little Leach crosses the line and goes 6.2 quicker, that puts him into P5 now. Keegs, like we said, running P8. Kieran, as we've just heard, is round after clipping a puddle. Currently 13.9 down off the leader, with Cam 45 seconds down. Swinfins hasn't done a lap time. It doesn't look like he's going to come out 2 set of time. But Mazda, now the fog's gone and the track is clearly developing a bit, is getting quicker. And this is the interesting part for me. Sutty still sits second, but has done that time in the wet fog. How quick does Gary and Mazda's, we've seen now improved again. Mazda's pulling 1.5 to Sutty now on the lap times. Does Gary slowly close in? And if so, how much does Gary close in by to gain on Sutty? Because I reckon this is more an Acura / Mercedes track, the Porsche of Swinfins type track. I don't think it's much a Lamborghini track for me, not like we've just seen with the Red Bull Ring. So let's see what happens here. As Mazda's round the final corner, and let's see what sort of lap time is. Gary has gone into second. This was my point. The Acura has now gone up into second. What's happening with Cameron? He's struggling in this weather. Struggling with the weather, yeah, it must be. As Mazda goes quicker again, he's gone into the 2:06 mark. I'll tell you what, that's quick. Gary on a 2:09. Sutty hasn't improved any as he heads down towards turn 1. Phil has just tangled. Is that Gary? Yep, Phil and Gary are dancing on the track at the moment. And there is Mazda. As Phil currently sits P4, then Little Leach rounding the final corner. Let's keep an eye on him. We'll jump on board with Cam in just a moment, who's gone P9 ahead of Kieran, and Little Leach improves to go ahead of Phil to go P4. So the one Lamborghini up there now. Where's Welshie? He's in a Lamborghini. The number 92. Oh, look at that. Both MC Motorsports on screen there. As Welshie thunders past him, and I think clipped that puddle he was on about. He's managed to hold it well there, but he clipped the puddle he was on about, going onto the back straight, and he's 9/10 up on his time here. So could break into the 2-minute 11s. Could well shit through the chicane well there. Stealth Soft looks like he's coming into the pit lane. 10 minutes remaining in this practice session. And Welshit down the straight, crosses the line now and does improve on his time by 1.1 seconds. The Stealth Sloth in the pits. Here's Keegs as Phil is wide again. Keegs then on the back straight. There is starting to become, with the looks of this, some dry spots on track. Kieran has just gone up to P2, so a heck of a lap from Kieran. Cam's gone up as well, he's gone a bit quicker. He's back up into P9, not far off the back of Stealth Sloth. Keegs though is coming to the end of his lap, so keep an eye on him. Is it drying out there, Kieran? Because there is a few spots Keegs has gone over that's no spray.
Where's that on track from the first sector now? I don't think it seems to be still wet. A lot of spray coming off the back of here, but it may be different coming up the hills, maybe.
Yeah. Chris Forbes, your announcing is impressive, one of the best. IMO, not quite sure what IMO means, but thank you for your kind words there, Chris. Means a lot. The season hasn't even got started yet, so hopefully you can be a part of the channel and be a part of either the racing or spectating throughout the season. When the season gets going, then we up it a gear on commentary as Keeks goes into P5. So Jamie Brazier was asking about his teammate Cam, and here he is. That's Kieran off in the gravel actually at the hairpin corner. Michael Matthews, IMO means in my opinion. Cheers, Peacefoot. Got my back, appreciate that, buddy. Thank you very much. You'll catch Michael Matthews on track tomorrow night with Jamie Brazier, maybe a few other guys as well. As Cam then coming towards the end of his lap time, let's give him some screen time as Phil is in the pit lane. Now, has he just pitted or is he in the pit box? We'll wait and see. But yeah, there's no spray coming off the back of Cam's car, just a slight bit now as he heads towards the chicane, or around the corner before the chicane. But
track now, the top chicane before the back straight before the king.
There's very little spray in places, none where Cam was going down towards the tight chicane before the final corner, and not a lot. I tell you what, into the final corner, there's more going round it than there was on the approach. Oh, as Cam has just lit up the rear coming down the start straight. The Stealth Sloth is in the pits. He's making a pit stop. Hopefully Cam doesn't have too much damage and will not improve on his time this time around. Meanwhile, out front, Mazda still has the wipers on even though there's no rain. Must have been following a car with spray. In fact, he is. He's following the legend himself, Sooty Apex. Mazda running on the Fanatec wheel now, so he's upgraded the wheel from the Logitech G29. Kieran's making a pit stop. How much difference that will make for Mazda, we'll see. But at the moment, he's going well, and he's down on his time. But Sooty Apex has just gone second into the 207s now for him. Big shunt, says Chris Forbes. Yeah, you're right. He lit the rears up there and really lost it as Mazda looks up the inside of Sooty Apex, and Sooty gives him the room and respect that these drivers give each other. Where's Gary? Currently 2.4 down. He's about to start another lap time. Beating Gary, Kieran. Quicker than Gary.
I wouldn't. If I fell one off.
No. Quicker than Gary, Kieran. No, don't take anything away from yourself, mate. As he crosses the line and is 28 seconds down on that time around. Where's Welshie? Here he is. Let's just doubly check the lap time. So Mazda has done the most laps at the minute with Sooty making a pit stop. It's Mazda who's setting the pace as well as the laps. Gary and Sooty are on 9 apiece, with Kieran on 8, Keegs is on 8, Stealth Sloth is on 8, Cam's on 7 with Little Each, and Welshie is on 6 with Phil. Swinfins hasn't set a lap time yet. Hopefully we can see him out there. Let's see if we do. What does Welshie do on this last part of the track then round here? Comes round the final part of the track and down the start finish straight, and what's it going to be as he crosses the line? No improvement, only 2.5 off the leader. Where's Keegs? It's just gone around the hairpin. Little Each parked in the pits, he's 3.8 down. Phil Currently 4.4 down on his time. The track does look like it's dry, and with 5 minutes 50 left on the clock. See you all tomorrow. See you, Monkey Boy. We'll catch you tomorrow.
I don't think it's dry enough wet, dry tyres yet though.
Do you not?
No. It's on the borderline. I think another couple of laps maybe. Then you're not going to have enough time to get back out again. So.
Yeah. So if you was to race this, would you say wets till the end?
More than likely, yeah. So at the moment, I might jump in the pits actually and put the soft tyre on and see how that works.
Just have a go, yeah. P3, nothing to lose at the minute, as Mazda has done a 2:06.1, so he's gone even quicker yet. So still time.
But there's no spray.
There's a bit of spray I've just seen from Phil going through the quicker chicane, going to the back straight. Times are going to tumble soon, yeah, definitely Jamie Brazier. As we're still on board with Phil as he comes round the right hand kink before being flat out the rest of the way now till he gets to the chicane towards the end of the lap. Not a single drop of spray. It is there though on the inside of the curb. You might have to that corner wider than you normally would like to, as there is puddle still on the inside curb. Phil into the chicane, and has to cut it there, couldn't get it stopped on the apex, probably pushing a bit too hard to try and improve on his P9 that he is currently at the moment. And around the final corner comes Phil as Sutty is in the pits, in the garage. Kieran's just leaving the pit lane now. Phil, with that time, has improved to P2. How much of it was, how much he gained through cutting the chicane, we'll have to wait and see. But it's P2 nonetheless.
Soft tyre on.
And Kieran has gone on to the soft tyre. Who else in the pits? Little Leach is in the pits. So Phil's gone second, but with a bit of a cut of the chicane, so we'll see how that gained on his time. There is Sutty apex. Where's Gary? Currently running P5th. Looks like he's just rejoined after a bit of an off. He has no rear spoiler, so Gary's possibly running with 100% damage. He may be better off just chucking that in the pits and coming back out. He gained all of his time through the chicane, says Jamie Brazier, so there we go. There's Welshie just in front of Kieran Argent. So keep an eye on it with Kieran. The Leach comes back out the pits. Mazda's decided to chuck it into the pit lane. Is he going dry? We'll try and send him another quick interview. Is it a big struggle as well?
I'm halfway around the lap almost and they're still dark blue, so.
Down to P4 is Kieran now. Let's keep an eye on his times with his soft tyre. Looking at the timing screen, Mazda's set the early laps with Sutty and Gary doing 10 apiece as well. Kieran's on 9. Stealth Sloth's also on 10 with Keegs on 9 as well. Cam's in the pits, struggling at the back of the grid. Coming to the pit lane. Mazda's pulled out from the pits now, so he's done his pit stop. So I don't think we'll get Mazda in. We'll see if we can get him in at the end of the session. Phil then, is he up on his time this time around? We haven't seen if he's cut any of the chicane or anything this time. It didn't look like he had. And round the final corner he goes now. Down the start straight, crosses the line, and he does improve slightly, so merit to Phil. If it aren't the time he lost, we've got Swimfins on track, so Swimfins looks like he's going to do the last couple of laps. Is this starting a lap or finishing one? Starting one, so Swimfins is on a lap time at the moment. Keegs has just crossed the line and is only P7. Sutty's crossed the line and stays P3. How's the tyres, Kieran?
Getting there now, the light shade of green, so coming on to a flying lap.
Good. Gary's in the pit lane. Will he get out in time to do another lap? I don't think he will, so that may be Gary done for the session. Welshie out on a lap, as is Keegs. We've seen Stealth Sloth has just come out the pits. I don't think he's going to get a lap neither.
Well, I'm coming out the pits now, I won't have enough time.
Yeah, Cam was coming out the pits as well, so he's not going to get a lap in neither. Little Leach has just started lap. Gary is pitting. Swimfins has damage and he's off again. Straight into a wall there, so not sure what's happened with Swimfins as he resets the car. Sutty has called it a day in the garage. So where is Mazda? Has he put slick tyres on? We'll have to wait and see.
I'm 1.4 up in the first sector. Puddle and it sent me into the gravel, but I'm still up.
So Mazda coming around to start what will be his final lap of the session. Phil, he's coming into the pit, so he's calling it a day with his teammate. Kieran's coming towards the back part of the track. This will be Kieran's last lap. Who's that by the last corner? It's Keegs, so Keegs will be the first of the finishers. Now, is he up on his timing? Can he get within the 3.7 seconds needed to gain on his teammate? Let's see then. Is Keegs up as he comes to cross the line now? Slows down before the line, so clearly not. Who's just in front of Kieran? It's Cam. So Cam isn't going to get a lap in, unfortunately for him, but he's finished. Here comes Kieran. What's he going to do? He's improved to go second, so the dry tyre clearly working.
3 seconds, I lost 2 seconds approximately at the bottom of the hill.
The Stealth Sloth stays 8th as Little Leach goes up into P4 right at the end as well. And where's Gary? He's coming towards the end of his lap, so he's not going to get another time in. The Stealth Sloth, he's done.
I've got a feeling that race could be a 2-stop because the tyres did wear quite heavily in the wet, and then obviously going onto the drive at the end, whether you risk it and stay on the wets or whether you jump onto the dry tyres and be 4 to 5 seconds quicker.
Yeah. Now the interesting thing for me, Kieran, is his Master Salon's time. He did do a pit stop earlier. Did he pit for the dry tyre? He must have, and he's 4 seconds up on his delta, it says there. Now whether he's had an off or something, we'll find out. But if he's 4 seconds up on his time, that could be the dry tyres really working for him.
Like I say, I was 2.5
and he's going to cross the line now, and we'll see what his time is. Yeah, he's done a 2-minute dead, so he's gained 6 seconds on that time. So if he jumps in, we can ask if he did that last time on the dry tyre. So for the final practice session tonight, Mazda gets first from Kieran Argent. We think Mazda was on the dry. We can't be too sure until we speak to him. We know Kieran was on the dry, so a good time from Kieran. Phil in 3rd with Little Each 4th, Sutty 5th, Gary in 6th, Walshy 7th, Keegs in 8th, Stealth Sloth 9th, Cam in 10th, and Swimfins didn't manage to set a time in 11th. So we'll see if Mazda joins us before the race or after. We'll find out.
Like I said, I lost about 2 seconds at the bottom of the hill, and I lost another 2.5 seconds around that kink before the last chicane.
So just to go through the grid, so yeah, he lost 2 coming through that quicker chicane or the final one.
The right kink before the chicane, lost 2 seconds.
Well, there's the puddle on the inside, isn't there? Yeah. Is that what you touched?
I lost about 4 seconds overall in lap, and I've still improved by 1.5. So.
Yeah, so there you go. You was up 6 seconds, 5 or 6 seconds. Mazda went up 6 seconds. So let me talk you through the grid. It's Swimfins who gets a rare pole for him, but it's nice to see him on pole. Stealth Sloth 2nd, Cam in 3rd, Little Each 4th, Keegs 5th, Sutty Apex 6th, Kieran Argent 7th, Mazda, the quickest man on track in the dry. Can he do it again? Or, well, on drying tyres, can he do it here? Phil starts 9th with Gary at the back row with Chris, aka Welshie. So while we wait for the drivers to ready up, this will be the final part of the stream. We'll get this race out of the way, and that'll be all from us at Simplay Motorsport tonight. But we'll be back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock again, where some of the guys who's not tested tonight, some of the other lads will get their chance to test tomorrow night. So never fear. Chris, if you're about, we are here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Jamie Brazier should be there, I do believe. The 14 people who are here. Hope you can be joining us tomorrow night as well. Cameron's going to win, says Jamie. He's going to come from 3rd on the grid and win. And I know, Stealth Sloth. He's only had the game 4 days, and he's getting quicker. As a friend of ours would say, he's getting quicker.
Turn 1 could be a bit messy.
Turn 1 could be very messy here. Let's find out what happens. as the revs are rising, and it's go, and it's not the greatest to start from Swimfins, but it is from the Stealth Sloth and from Cameron and from Little Leach. And look at Sooty Apex, who's got an absolute blinding start, and Swimfins is off, Mazda's off, Gary, Little Leach is upside down, Kieran's off, Gary's off, Phil was off as well, and it's Sooty who's gone from mid-pack on the grid to leading the race. Yeah, Chris, random grid for this. Like I say, this race means nothing at the moment, but it's Sooty who leads from Cam. Stealth Sloth in third with Welshie Carnage again. That's Welshie, and Keeg's involved. Kieran's got no rear spoiler, he's involved in that. Mazda's got through. Welshie's facing backwards here. Kieran's going to struggle till the end of the lap. Swimfin's back up to 9th. Where's Keegs? He's currently running 11th. But back out front, it's Sooty Apex from Cameron. From the Stealth Sloth, it's the 3 Lamborghinis who currently sit on the podium at the minute. Carnage on the first lap here at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Sooty.
Yeah, I'll say, on that start straight, I think I've overtaken a lot of cars on the right hand side. The next thing I know, I was facing the wrong way, so I don't know what happened there behind me.
I think Swimfin's got a bit of a poor start, and someone caught Swimfin's out.
Yeah.
And it all just concentrated up from there. I just think it was someone not reacting to Swimfin's poor start. I don't think it was no fingers to blame. I just think it was, bad start from Swimfin's, and everybody being bunched up like that. Someone's pulled out the way and they've not seen him. But Sooty Apex really starting to pull away here, with Cam running P2 at the minute for Norfolk and Chance. I don't know if that's an official team name, but that's what I've got here from Jamie Brazier. Stealth Sloth currently running P3. I said this might not be a Lamborghini track, and how wrong am I at the moment? Gary must have damage. His Mazda's now up to P4 with Phil hot on his tail here. Look at all these cars with damage. Is Gary going into the pits? We'll find out in a moment. Little Leach also damaged. Keegs, his car doesn't look too bad. Kieran's looks terrible, no rear spoiler. Welsh's no rear spoiler, and Swimfin's is badly damaged as well. But back out front, it's Sooty who leads as we head on to lap 2 from Cam, closely followed by Steve at the Stealth Sloth. Mazda, you see in the background, stays out. He's got Phil gaining on the back of him. Gary's in the pits. Little Leach has stayed out and will overtake the Leach Motorsport partner of Gary. Keegs has stayed out, so he'll gain a place on Gary as well. Welshie looks like is he going to dive into the pits? We'll see. No, Welshie's going to stay out. Kieran's diving into the pits. What Swimfin's going to do? Swimfin's going to stay out then, so Swimfin's could gain on Gary, definitely gain on Kieran. See you tomorrow, Michael. Gary just getting into his pit box, must be right down the bottom of the pit lane there. No change of tyres, no fuel. Just waiting for the repair to go. The lollipop man's lifted his lollipop. Kieran's only just coming around to his pit box now.
My car would not go straight for the second half of that lap.
But Sooty is 2 seconds out in front at the moment from Cam, who's still being closed down by the Stealth Sloth. And the 2 newbies running second and third here. Mazda still has Phil on his tail. Now, we'll see what Mazda can do. He has set the fastest lap of the race. Oh no, that was practice, sorry. I've got it in the race feed box at the bottom. That was practice. We'll see who's going to do the fastest lap of the race this time around. But Phil chasing. Little Leach has Keegs on his tail. And Welshie, with no spoiler, doesn't seem to be hurting that bad in that Lamborghini. Well, Swimfin's may be hurting a bit more in that car. But Kieran's got out the pits before Gary Leach. So Gary must have had serious damage. He was only just coming out the pit lane. As Sooty's coming towards the final corner then. So Sooty about to come around the final corner. The Stealth Sloth has really dropped off the back. Do they have racing line on? Some do, some don't. That's just up to them who chooses to run with the racing line on or off. That's down to your choice. As Sooty does a 2-minute dead. So Mazda's time of a 2:07. Sooty's done a 2-minute dead. A 2-minute 0.7, should I say. Mazda did in the drying track. So obviously Mazda must have had slicks on at the end then. Sooty then flying at the moment. And then closest battle on track is Little Leach and Keegs. But Keegs must have had a spin somewhere because he's lost his rear wing and may struggle for the final lap of this race. Welshie's struggling all over the chicane there. That's not what Chris will be wanting out of this one. He'd have wanted to get on track there and get some good lap times in. But struggling here. Swimfin's then, he's coming around to the back end of the track. Kieran is only 9 seconds off of Swimfin's, and Gary's only 10 seconds off of the back of Kieran Argent, so really trying to hassle is Gary, really trying to hassle the back of Kieran before he's... So we only missed one person tonight, which was Dean Wisocki. Hopefully we can get him on tomorrow night for some practice. It'd be nice to see all the drivers trying to get some last bits in before before the season starts on the 23rd of September. Don't forget, we get underway at Silverstone GP in the conditions you saw tonight. But for Sooty Apex, it has been a dominate race here for him. Gary 10 seconds off the back of Kieran Argent. Kieran's heading down towards turn 1, which Swinfins has just gone round as Gary is halfway down the start straight when Kieran gets there. So Kieran could possibly see him in his mirrors here. And Swinfins is off there, Kieran says, and Kieran makes his way through. Back on now. Sooty was up on his Delta, so is Sooty going to get into the 1 minute 59s here on lap time? It's a flash of the lights and it's a win for the Sooty Apex, and does a 1:58, so a good lap time from him. Here comes Cam, who's managed to get away from the Stealth Sloth, and he's going to take a good second place. Gives him confidence heading into the league. The Stealth Sloth will claim third, so a good little finish for him. Mazda's going to come home to take fourth, with Phil crossing the line P5. Little Leach will come home to take sixth. Gary's on the back of Swinfins. That's what the exclamation means. So Little Leach will take sixth. Keith, who struggled, really fell off the back of Little Leach with no rear wing. He must have struggled all out. We'll see his lap time in just a moment. Chris Forbes says, is it possible to show the start? Unfortunately not, mate, as Keegs has a bit of a spin and then crosses the line in reverse. Welsh is going to finish in just a moment. Yeah, unfortunately, Chris, we can't... replays aren't possible on the game. But us at Simplay Motorsport, we are trying to find ways to show replays and things as well, so please bear with us, and future streams could be more impressive as well. She's going to come home in 8th. Kieran looks like he's going to get 9th. He's 12 seconds up the road from Gary. In fact, it's Gary in the background who's heading up towards the chicane now.
I took the wrong chicane. I took the second one, the first one.
So Kieran crosses the line P9. Keegs says sorry for the start, so I'm not sure what happened then with Keegs at the start. See if we can get Mazda in the chat.
What we can do is do another post in the week. If one of us saves the replay, we can go back in and create like a highlight video, maybe. Something we can potentially look at doing.
Yeah, a highlight reel will be something good, I think, for each race or the 2 races. Let's do a quick highlight reel. Chris Forbes says massive crash end. So Gary 10th. Swinfins comes across the chicane wrong, but oh well. He's only got 5 seconds to get across the start line. I don't think Swinfins is going to finish here. Mazda doesn't want to go in. Oh, okay. So we're not going to get a word from the other admin. So Sooty Apex wins the race from Cam. Stealth Sloth in 3rd with Mazda finishing 4th. Phil 5th, Little Each 6th with Keeg 7th, Foch 8th, Kieran 9th, Gary 10th, Swinfins bringing up the rear. So Kieran, a useful testing night?
Yeah, obviously I only use the one car, so it was good to test a few different weathers. Glad we done the fog now rather than in the season.
Yeah.
Because like I say, we wouldn't have known that if we didn't test it. The weather improved.
Yeah. I think obviously you missed the Silverstone wet to where it did dry at the end. I think that was
yeah.
I think that was interesting. We'll try and get Gary in for a quick word.
Who's coming in for I missed that.
I think I've asked Gary to come in, so we'll see if Gary can come in.
Okay.
If not, no problem. Alright, is here. Evening, Gary.
Evening.
Good practice.
Up and down. Still getting used to the cars.
Which car are you? So we've seen you try the Mercedes as well as the Acura. Do you and your brother have a bit of a preference at the moment, or?
Well, I preferred the Acura tonight. To be fair, I couldn't get on with Merc to start with, so we had a quick change up, and he seemed to like it as well. So just got used to driving, I suppose.
Yeah. The fog. What did you make of the fog?
Don't bother, take it off.
Right, no problem. We've seen on the stream as well as a few bits that people wasn't keen on the fog. So
yeah, weather's not a problem. I don't mind rain, but when you can't see and you're not used to the tracks, I think that could cause a lot of hassle for a lot of drivers. To be fair, even experienced drivers who know the track.
Yeah, no, we tested it, and this is what this is for, just to get the testing out of the way. We've seen a good little scrap with you and your brother and Sutty at Austria around the Red Bull ring.
That was good.
That looked fun.
Yeah, that wasn't good fun. I was telling my brother to keep going. Luckily, Sutty had left the party to join you boys, and I thought I'd play with him a little bit.
Brilliant. Will you be with us tomorrow night, or?
Yeah, we'll see. Possibly not, but we'll do my best.
Yeah, no reason, buddy. Thanks for all for watching. We hope you have a good evening. Like we say, we'll be live again tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for people who want to jump on and get some more practice in, or for the guys who wasn't able to join us tonight to get some more practice in. But from all of us here at Simplay Motorsport, enjoy your evening and enjoy the rest of your week. Good night.